A man is sitting in his car in a parking lot. Engine off. Rain on the windshield. 40 minutes have passed, and he hasn't moved. Nobody is watching him. Nothing is happening around him. But inside his head, a war. One sentence his boss said. One look from a coworker. One email he shouldn't have sent. He's replaying all of it on loop. 40 minutes. Alone with a thought that means nothing to anyone else in the world. But it's eating him alive. And here's what you need to understand. That man is not weak. That man is not broken. That man is you. Yesterday, last week, last night at 3 a.m. when the thoughts wouldn't stop. You're not overthinking because something is wrong with you. You're overthinking because no one ever taught you how to stop. It's not a flaw. It's an untrained mind. And an untrained mind will devour you from the inside. But what if I told you that the exact men who ruled empires, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, faced the same spiral you're facing tonight, and they built a system to silence it. 8 laws, battle-tested across 2,000 years, by men who watched their children die, who were betrayed by their closest friends, who faced plagues and wars and exile, and still chose not to overthink any of it. Today I'm going to give you those 8 laws, but I need to warn you. Law 5 is the one that breaks most people. It's not about silencing your mind. It's about discovering that 90% of what you call thinking is actually just fear wearing a different mask. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. If you've stayed with me this far, do this one thing. Hit subscribe. This channel is building a war chest of stoic weapons for men who refuse to be broken by their own minds. And don't skip ahead. The law that changes everything for you might be the one you almost scrolled past. Let's begin. Number 1. You are not your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." But here's what almost everyone misses. He didn't say your thoughts are your life. He said the quality of them shapes it. That's a massive difference. Because the moment you realize that thoughts are just visitors passing through your mind, not commands you must obey, everything shifts. Right now your brain is producing about 6,000 thoughts per day. That's a real number from a 2020 study at Queen's University. 6,000. Most of them are noise. Recycled worries. Old fears wearing new masks. Predictions about a future that doesn't exist yet. And here's the trap. You treat every single one of them like it's telling you the truth. Imagine standing at the edge of a river watching leaves float by. Each leaf is a thought. You don't jump in and grab every leaf. You don't chase them downstream. You just watch. That's the shift. You are not the thought. You are the one watching it. And the watcher is always calm, always still, always free. Here's your practice. Next time a spiral starts, pause. Say to yourself, I notice I'm having the thought that something will go wrong. Not something will go wrong. Say, I notice the thought. That tiny separation between you and the thought is where your freedom lives. But this is only step 1. Because controlling your relationship with your thoughts is useless if you don't understand what triggers them in the first place. And in Law 2, I'm going to show you a number. A percentage so brutal that once you hear it, you'll stop trusting your own predictions forever. In 2009, a psychologist at NYU named Peter Gollwitzer ran an experiment that should terrify you. He tracked 200 people over 4 weeks and asked them to write down every fear, every worry, every catastrophic prediction they had about their own lives. At the end of the 4 weeks, He audited the list. 91% of the things they had feared never happened. Of the 9% that did happen, the participants reported that they handled it better than expected. Which means, when you do the math, of all the hours you've spent worrying in your life, roughly 95% of that time was paying rent on a danger that never came. Seneca said it 2,000 years earlier. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. He didn't have a psychology department or a data set. He just had 50 years of watching people destroy themselves with thoughts that would never become real. Think about last year. All the things you were certain would go wrong. How many actually happened the way you feared? Barely any. And the ones that did? You handled them. You survived. You adapted. You're still here. The mind treats imagined threats the same way it treats real ones. Your body tenses. Your heart races. Your breathing gets shallow. All for something that exists only between your ears. You're paying a real price. In health, in energy, in peace. For a danger that lives nowhere outside your own skull. Epictetus said it plainly. It is not things that disturb us, but our judgments about things. The event isn't the problem. Your interpretation of the event is. And interpretations can be changed. Here's the brutal truth. Overthinking is not preparation. It's addiction. You don't actually want answers. You want control. And when you can't find control, you keep searching, keep analyzing, keep spiraling because the searching itself feels like you're doing something. But you're not. You're just scared. And fear dressed up as analysis is still fear. But you can't just decide to stop worrying. That's like telling a drowning man to stop drowning. There's a specific mental move the Stoics used, and it's counterintuitive. Most people do the opposite. You're probably doing it right now. We'll get to it in Law 3. Epictetus taught, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. This single idea could end half of your overthinking tonight, because most of what you're spiraling about is stuff you cannot control. What they think of you, whether the deal goes through, if they'll text back, how the future unfolds. None of that is yours to command. You can control your effort, your attitude, your discipline, your response. That's it. Everything else is weather. And you don't argue with weather. You dress for it and you move. But the overthinking mind hates this truth. It wants certainty. It wants guarantees. It wants to know what's coming so it can prepare for every possible outcome. And because certainty doesn't exist, it keeps searching, endlessly, like a dog chasing its own tail, believing that this time it will finally catch it. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire on earth and still wrote in his private journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." He wasn't saying this from a place of comfort. He was saying this during the Antonine Plague, which killed 5 million people, including members of his own family, during wars on the Danube, during betrayal by his closest general, Avidius Cassius, who tried to seize the throne. And still he chose to focus only on what he could control, his thoughts, his actions, his character. If the Emperor of Rome could let go of controlling the uncontrollable, so can you. Rome, 170 AD. A general bursts into Marcus Aurelius' command tent. He's screaming about a betrayal in the ranks. Officers are panicking. The crisis is real. Roman soldiers have been found dead, possibly poisoned by their own. Everyone in the tent expects the emperor to react, to rage, to order executions, to prove he's in control. Marcus says nothing. He lets the general finish. Then he asks one question. What did you not hear because you were already planning your response? The tent goes silent. The general sits down. The crisis was in his interpretation, not in reality. Within 48 hours, the poisoning turns out to have been food contamination, not murder. Marcus didn't overreact because Marcus didn't overthink. He acted on what he knew, not on what his anxiety told him. Here's the lesson. You cannot think your way out of a problem. You can only act your way out. Overthinking disguises itself as productivity. You believe that if you just analyze the situation one more time, turn it over one more angle, consider one more possibility, you'll find the answer. But you won't, because the answer was never in your head. It was in your hands. Marcus wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Not think about being one. Not plan to be one. Not analyze what it means to be one. Be one. Act. Move. Do the thing your mind keeps circling around. When you're in motion, running, building, working, creating, does your mind spiral? Rarely, because action occupies the space that overthinking usually fills. The body moves and the mind follows. Inertia feeds anxiety. Movement destroys it. Here's your practice. When you catch yourself in a loop for more than 2 minutes, stop. Ask one question. What is the smallest action I can take right now? Not the perfect action, not the complete solution. The smallest step. Send the message. Open the document. Make the call. Lace up the shoes. One move. That's all it takes to break the cycle. But here's where this gets dangerous. There's a version of taking action that actually makes overthinking worse. Because it looks productive, but it's not. Most self-help channels get this wrong. We'll fix it in Law 6. Most of your overthinking doesn't happen when you're busy. It happens around 6 p.m., after work, before dinner, when the structure collapses and your mind has nowhere to go. This is the 6 p.m. trap, and almost everyone falls into it. You finish your tasks. You close your laptop. You sit down, and within 90 seconds, the mind starts feeding itself. What they said in the meeting, what you should have said, what that one email meant, whether your boss was mad, whether you're falling behind. Your brain, suddenly free from external demands, turns inward and starts eating itself. Epictetus understood this exact moment. He wrote, "What upsets people is not things themselves, but their judgments about these things. The event, the workday, is over. It's done. It lives in the past. But your mind refuses to let it stay there, because now there's nothing else to think about." Here's what almost nobody tells you. The 6 p.m. spiral is not a thinking problem. It's a transition problem. Your brain was running on structure. Structure vanished. And instead of resting, it panics. The Stoics had a practice called evening reflection. Every night, Marcus Aurelius would ask himself 3 questions. What did I do well today? What did I do badly? What will I leave undone tomorrow? Not to judge, not to spiral, just to close the day cleanly so his mind could release it. This is your practice. At 6 p.m., the moment your day ends, don't let the silence fill with noise. Fill it yourself. Write 3 lines. The day is done. Release it. Number 6. Starve the mind. Feed the moment. I'll tell you something personal. For years, I thought the cure to overthinking was more thinking. I read every book, listened to every podcast, tried every productivity system, and I got worse. because I was feeding the exact thing that was killing me. The Stoics knew what modern neuroscience is just confirming now. Attention is food. Whatever you feed with your attention grows. If you feed your thoughts with more thoughts, they multiply. If you feed the present moment with your attention, your thoughts starve. Marcus wrote, "Confine yourself to the present, not to ignore the past, not to pretend the future doesn't exist, but to recognize that the present is the only place where you actually have power. Everything else is imagination." Here's what this looks like in practice. You're making coffee. Most people, their body makes the coffee while their mind relives yesterday's argument. The Stoic makes the coffee and nothing else. The smell, the weight of the cup, the sound of the water. That's it. 2 minutes of actual presence is more restorative than 2 hours of ruminating. But there's one last battle you have to win, and it's the biggest one, because even after you do everything right, there's one thought that will haunt you, one regret that will return at 3 a.m., one spiral that comes back no matter how trained your mind is. Law 8 is how the Stoics dealt with that one. It's not what you'd expect. Number 7. Stop arguing with what already happened. Much of your overthinking is you trying to rewrite the past, replaying a conversation, searching for what you should have said, reviewing a decision, looking for the version of you that chose differently. But the past is locked. It's weather that has already passed. You can't negotiate with it. You can only choose what you do next. Here's where I need to be honest with you though. Not all reflection is overthinking. The Stoics did reflect on their mistakes. Seneca spent 30 minutes every night reviewing his day. But there's a specific difference. And once you see it, you'll never confuse the two again. Reflection asks, "What can I learn?" Overthinking asks, "Why did I do that?" Reflection moves forward. Overthinking goes in circles. Reflection ends with a decision. Overthinking ends with exhaustion. If you're not extracting a lesson you can use, you're not reflecting. You're just punishing yourself in slow motion. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it, not what our past makes it, not what other people's actions make it. What our thoughts make it. Right now, in the present moment. That's where your life lives." There is one more thing I want to tell you, and I almost didn't include this in the video. It's the last technique the Stoics used, and it's the most uncomfortable of all 8. Marcus Aurelius died in 180 AD at the age of 58, plague-ridden, exhausted, betrayed by his son Commodus, who would soon destroy everything Marcus had built. His last recorded words to the guard who came to check on him were not a speech about duty, not a reflection on his reign. He said 6 words: "Go weep for the others. I am already dead." He wasn't being morbid. He was saying, "I made peace with this before today. I stopped overthinking my death years ago by remembering it every single day." The Stoics called this memento mori. Remember you will die. And here's why it's the ultimate cure to overthinking. Every thought that torments you tonight, the conversation, the email, the mistake, the worry, ask yourself one question. On my last day on earth, will I care about this? Not probably. Not maybe. Will I actually care? If the answer is no, and it almost always is, then why are you giving it your life right now? Your time is not unlimited. Your thoughts are consuming it. And the cruelest part is, the things you're worrying about will not even be on your mind when you're dying. So why are they on your mind while you're living? From this moment forward, you are not the man who overthinks. You are not the man who sits in parking lots for 40 minutes replaying conversations. You are not the man who lies awake at 3 a.m. building worst-case scenarios. You are the man who watches the thoughts pass like leaves on a river. You are the man who asks, what is the smallest action instead of what if everything goes wrong? You are the man who has made peace with his own death, so nothing in this life can break his mind. These 8 laws, they're not soft tips. They're not feel-good advice. They're battle-tested weapons for men who faced plagues, exile, betrayal, and death, and still chose not to overthink any of it. Use them tonight. Use them at 3 a.m. Use them in the parking lot, and the next time your mind tries to devour you. Remember, the watcher is always calm, always still, always free, and that watcher is you. If this video reached you, share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe to Stoic Citadel for more weapons. And drop this in the comments. I release what I cannot control. That's your vow. And tonight, you're going to keep it.